This conference will now be.
All right, we're recording and you are good to go.
You feel good?
Okay,
Yeah.
we will call to order the regular city council meeting of the city of New Richland, September 12th, 2022 at 6:30 PM. Everyone is here, council, and will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One of these times I'm gonna break into song.
Tony, did you change passwords? I hear you have a nice voice.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah.
What he lied. Okay, first of all, we have to approve the agenda. Any additions or corrections?
Madam Mayor, I have number 2 under requests and presentations. You can put Doug Christopherson, Commissioner Christopherson. And then under new business, you can strike number 1, EDA loan program updates. We'll cover that at our next meeting.
New business? Okay.
That's what I have.
Is now the time for me to request moving the August financials down for discussion?
We gotta approve the agenda first, don't you?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
just,
then we
yeah,
do.
she just wants to move, so you're,
Oh,
We're
number,
still working on the agenda.
number 3, you want to put to new business?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else to the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda with the changes?
second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Chad to approve the agenda with changes. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consent agenda items. Quite a list here. We've all had a chance to look through it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Motion by Chad, seconded by Lauren to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And we jump right down to requests and presentations. Edward Gilmore, Siren Grant. A long-awaited Siren Grant.
So I brought with me the letter of conditions. That was for the second half of that. So I think I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got everyone. Sorry.
Thank you.
Did we get lost in the shuffle from when we originally applied?
Well, no, it got split into 2 halves.
Okay,
So last time I was here, that was, let's see, that would have been May 23rd. So I guess we're aiming for around 20,000 total for the grant.
Okay.
But when it got approved back at the May 23rd meeting, we only had about 11,000 in our funding left. So I kind of split it into the warning siren and the St. Olaf Park warning siren. Split it into 2 different things to try to, basically it was to get the 11,000 while we had it, got that obligated, and then if more money became available later, then we would do it. And that's what happened. We had an additional 8,400 we could use for it.
okay.
So for funding purposes, it got split into 2, but the way I wrote them up is it's interchangeable. So if you end up spending less money on one and more money on another, that's fine, as long as it all goes to the warning sirens.
What if we don't do St. Olaf Lake? Can it all be used on the city one? Just a question.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. So on the first one, the way it was funded, basically a total of 32,000. So 18,500 would be from the city, 2,500 the grant you got from the foundation, area foundation, then 11,000 for the grant. So basically either warning siren, if you had exactly 32,000 in invoices for, that's everything, the purchase of the equipment, freight to ship it here, installation, if you need a new pole, the electrical, anything like that.
Does it have to be worded where it's used? Or does it have to just say sign or?
Just the siren. It's part of the emergency storm alert system.
Right.
Yeah, that type of thing.
Just curious, because sometimes you want the address where everything is.
No, that should be fine for this. But basically, if you had 32,000 in receipts, then you'd use your money, the grant from the foundation, and you get 11,000 from us. And then for this one, the second one is basically another 24,000. Then use the other half of your grant, about 13,000 from the city and another 8,400 from us.
Okay, so we do need to split the 20,000.
I think that's how I wrote it up, because I think the foundation, if I'm correct, made the 5,000 grant for doing both. So that's how I split it up. If it really, basically, if you sent me 32,000 in invoices and that are paid, I'm not going to question if it came from you or the foundation. I think they already gave you guys the check a while or back last time I was here about that same time. So I mean, if you had 32,000 in invoices, I would go ahead and disperse the 11,000 to basically reimburse you the grant dollars. And then same thing on the second half, the 24,000, then I'd do the full 8,400. If the cost comes in less than that, then it does come off our grant. So that's the thing, the applicant money and the foundation grant goes in first, and ours is the last funds. I guess that's a benefit of doing it split into two, then it's almost assuredly have the full, enough cost to do the full 11,000, the first grant, and then it would just be, if it comes in short on, then it would be off the second grant there.
Tony, off the top of your head, do you remember what the grant or what the siren cost would be for the city portion alone? Just off the top of your head.
I think that was the cheaper of the two. I think that was the $24,000, 25. I mean, it's gonna be 30,000 now.
The city one?
Yeah, it's gonna be gone. It's gonna have gone up significantly since we ordered it out.
Yeah, I think I rounded up on some of these.
Yeah, I think the way we discussed it was that we would, because the lake one's the more expensive one, I think,
Was
if I
it?
remember correctly, because they gotta do pole and they gotta wire and run stuff out there. And I think we thought that way is, if we did this one, we'd still have money left to put into that project.
Okay,
If we didn't get any more funds, we would still be able to do both those projects.
I guess, yeah, I should have questioned it in May, but, so the city has to come up with 18,000 basically, is what he's saying.
Right, but we're sitting, I mean, we have dedicated funds for that, and
We
we
do
know
have
it's
enough.
about $7,000 or $8,000, so, we're within the 10.
We're close,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, it was 18.5 on the first one, and then 13,000.
We kind of talked about using our budget process here to try to fill in that gap, so that we can at least get for sure the city siren done right away, and then
Yeah.
you can always move on to the other one.
All right,
Maybe the county would be willing to help in on the St. Olm project.
oh, I'm sure they will, and we'll get that in writing tonight.
We'll probably get an answer right away.
Anybody got any paper?
If not sooner.
So Edward, what's been your experience about cities or places ordering these sirens? Are they
Back
in the
on.
ship out in the harbor in San Diego, or where are they?
Yeah, I don't know where they come from exactly, but I would imagine just like everything else, it's probably,
So it might not even be this year.
Yeah, but you said that it's what, 2 or 3 years for this in order to use the funds?
Yeah.
before they-
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna ask next.
yeah.
If we don't use it till next year at this time,
yeah,
and we
that's
finally
fine.
get one, we're fine. Okay.
We have
Yeah.
up to 2 or 3
Yeah.
years, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say at least 3 years, yeah.
But it's available now, if,
Correct, yeah,
Yes.
so that's one thing. So normally I come here, do the letter, so last time in May, came here, did the letter of condition, the council approved that. Then I had you sign off on the request for obligation, and then we got it approved at that time. This one, we were up against a funding deadline, so that's why I had you sign the stuff for, basically issued the letter of conditions, had the mayor sign it. And so it's already been approved and stuff. I just wanted to come out to keep the city council informed of everything, so it's a little out of order. Basically, that was it. We had a pooling deadline where our national office takes any remaining money from the states
Mhm.
and then kind of reissues it accordingly at that time. So it's basically the mayor signed off on it early to accommodate the already funding deadline. So just wanted to, like I said, make sure that the council got an update on everything, kept in the loop on all of it. Yeah, should be, I'd say 3 to 5 years to use all the money. I think 3 years and they're not gonna question it. Then once it gets to the third year, then I'd get emails from the state office saying what's up. Then I'd have to ask for an extended. If
Okay.
it's within the 3 years, then I don't need to go to anybody for an extension or anything like that.
Well, I would hope, I mean, this is a necessary
The
project.
city one is a, yes, that one needs to be done. So the other one, I kind of, through this discussion process, with a 3-year deadline, I was thinking to myself, well, we almost have 2 budget cycles to, add that money to be able to take care of that situation and kind of plan ahead. So, but the city one doesn't need to be taken care of, so. Because we've reached life expectancy on this one.
And that one's dead.
So you need any action on this tonight, or is this
No,
just a
this-
presentation to let us
This
know?
part of it, yeah.
Okay.
I guess if you voted on it to like ratify the mayor already, having signed it in the past or something, that's more a city decision. I don't need anything else. It's already approved.
Done.
And those applications were both already approved by council, so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're good then.
Yeah, and I think even if there's something that jumped out and the council said, no, we don't want to do it, that'd be perfectly fine too. We could deobligate the funds and it's like a no harm, no foul.
Okay.
If you were withdraw any type of application or anything like that, it's never a punitive thing. Doesn't hurt you from reapplying for anything
In the
else
future
in
or
the
something.
future.
Okay.
Anything like that. So yeah, no, I don't need anything back for the warning siren. It was more just following up, making sure the council got updated on it. At the same time, the warning sirens are applied for. You guys had applied for fire department SCBA's as well. I could put in that in. So like I was saying, when they pulled the money and took everything back from the states, after that, our national office opened up the reserve they have and kind of first come, first serve request nationwide. So I have the SCBA one ready. And that would be, the SCBA estimate was about 100,000, so it'd be a $35,000 grant. So I kind of have the final documents for the mayor to sign off on for the application. If you guys wanted to have her sign those tonight, then I can submit that to the or to the state office, who will submit it to the national office tomorrow. Then we'll, couple days, find out if we get it. Then it'd be same thing. I would need to get because we're coming to the end of the federal fiscal year at the end of September. So I need to basically sign the stuff tonight, then I can send it to the state office, couple days, should find out if they have funds left or not. Then I'd have the letter of conditions for that, which would be similar to this one. It would just be $100,000 for the project, $65,000 from the city, $35,000 from rural development. And so that, where you get that 65-35 split, is based on the median household income of the city.
Okay.
Which I don't remember what it is top of my head, but basically we got 4 tiers where you can get up to, I think, 75, 55, 35, or 15% of the total project's grant eligible. So that's where you fell into, was a third one of those where it'd be 35%.
Now, if we've already purchased those funds or purchased those things, can we still get the grant on that? Or does it have to be purchased after the awarded some grant?
If the application was submitted before you purchased it.
And I believe
So
it may
then
have been.
What
Yeah.
it was supposed to be, I think.
Yeah.
It would, if you've done it within the last year, then I'd say yes. 'Cause
Yes.
it's about a year
Mhm.
ago. Yeah.
It was.
Then yeah, we can reimburse you for it.
Okay,
Then.
great.
Even if it's outside of when it was applied for, there's still language in our regulation that allows, you'd have to justify, and it'd be pretty easy. That's life-saving equipment and a necessity. It's regulated by OSHA.
Right.
So there's always an urgent need. You can't just walk around with expired air packs and stuff.
No.
Nope.
And the delays is on, it'd be something that the city wasn't submitting stuff, but it's always waiting on us to do it pretty much. It's either waiting for me to get to it or for us to have funding or something else along the lines of that. So it's more.
I think that was an issue too. We applied at the time they were ready to purchase. And I think we actually emailed about that,
Yeah,
meaning the application get in they could go ahead and buy it and pay
Yeah.
for it.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, ideally you wait till it's approved so you know exactly what you're gonna get. Like if you think, say if they're eligible for 50,000, but we only got 30,000 left at the time or something like that, then you get a higher out-of-pocket cost than you were expecting, so that's why it's best to wait till you get it approved, but yeah, like you said, you can't wait when it's something like that. Like you never know how long the process is gonna take,
Right.
because it depends on our funding and things like that. So hopefully we'll get it funded before the end of the fiscal year. Then we just have to close the grant basically after that, and if you've already purchased them, then get reimbursed for 35,000.
That'd be nice.
And then same thing, you basically have to hit 100,000 in paid costs for it, then I can reimburse the full 35,000. But that would include the air packs, the air cylinders, face mask, heads-up display. If you came in, bought less than you initially thought, or came in cheaper than you thought, as long as you spend the money on something related to the SCBA equipment. I mean, even leather gloves, you could say, because you need gloves and helmets and stuff when you refill them in the cylinders and
I think
stuff.
the invoice was like 106, wasn't it?
105 something, yeah.
Okay, then
We should be good.
35,000, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so
I don't think this was a previous grant too, so I don't think you need a motion at all to sign that. You can sign those documents on behalf of the council. So.
Okay.
So I have it. It's basically the application that was submitted was similar to this, only it said pre-application on it. This is the final numbers on it, where I've got like the 65-35 split on it. Feasibility report, which if you're doing something like a loan and then you guys would fill this out, say where the money for the loan's coming from or something. But when it's a grant, then I just basically, you've already given me the financial stuff I need, so I complete this, have you sign it.
Good.
And it's very similar to the other two applications for the warning sirens and stuff. So I could leave this with you and have you review it and then sign it, or you can give it back to me.
Should we do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I could sign it, you'd have to make a copy.
Yeah, if that's fine, I'll once she signs it, I can just forward it to you.
Okay, yeah, you could either,
Or do you need the original signature?
no, the scanned copy is fine.
Yeah, I can have it to you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, be good. So yeah, like I said, it's basically what they have available. It's a couple $1 million, but it was like first come, first served nationwide. So they said do some bigger projects, but I know Terry, our program director in St. Paul, just approved one for my coworker in the office there just today. So there's still money there as of today. So, and I've got to update the letter of condition. So it'll be the same thing. Once we get it approved, I'll send you the request for obligation and letter of intent to meet the conditions in the letter of conditions to sign. And then I think I'll come out again probably to do the same thing, so I can show the council it got approved and stuff like that, give you an update on it. I won't be able to come out it'd be 2 weeks from today would be your next meeting?
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be in October when I can come out.
That'd probably be better anyway.
Yeah. And 26 is a religious holiday for me, so I'll be off work. Yeah, as long as they have the funds available, then we should be all set. Since we've done the warning sirens, the letter of condition we use, the updated the template our national office did, it'll be the same information, just structured, and it's actually a little bit more clearer than this one. I think the only thing it'll say on there is like you have 6 to 9 months to get all this done. That's more an ideal guideline. It's subject to how fast, most of the time you'll be waiting on me to send you something to do. So that's a timeline to get a project going. In that case, you've already ordered the stuff. But that's not 6 to 9 months to use the fund. It's still the same 3 to 5 years for it. It also says on there, we got to make sure you have your share of the money and transfer to another account. That's more if it was a construction project, like you're putting in a couple $100,000 or more then for audit purposes, you transfer that to a separate construction account, and then we monitor things like that. So there's stuff in there that doesn't apply to
Right.
a simple deal like this. I think that's about it. So yeah, once I get these signed, then I'll finish updating that stuff, get it sent off tomorrow or Wednesday to the state office there, and they've been sending them back to us within a day or so to get it done. Like I said, we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, so it's a rush to spend all the money essentially. So kind of typical federal government operation, you wait months and months and months, then it's quick, do all this stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll leave them here and I'll sign it tonight and he can scan them.
Okay. Yeah, I
tomorrow.
got it here.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you get a copy of this, Tony? Did he have enough?
Yeah, I got it in an email previously.
Okay, because I don't really need it.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, that's it. Like I said, I don't remember if I sent you the one. So the request for obligation that was signed, once I got that back, I sent it to the state office. They signed it as approved. I don't know if I sent you a copy of that or not, but I'll send you.
Okay.
When I send the one for the second warning sirens, I'll send that one.
Okay.
So you'll have both of them. So basically, if you haven't ordered the warning sirens, you can go ahead and do so at your discretion there.
Okay.
Get that rolling. And then for the project, basically be two other steps, one to close the grant and then another to disperse the funds and stuff like that. So send an email, what I need in there. I think I covered it last time. The biggest thing is the compliance review stuff, which is that's making sure the funds whatever we fund is open and available to everybody for public safety stuff that doesn't apply too much other than does everybody have the opportunity to come to a city council meeting, which is yes, they do. So it's essentially making sure you're aware of the ADA laws, tracking demographic, things like that. So it's very minimum what I need to document that in the file. It's more, if you got questions about this law, that law type of thing. So I think that's the biggest thing to get the grant closed. Then once it's closed, basically need the paid receipt showing it's paid in full. And then once the warning sirens are installed and pictures of it, things like that, then we can disperse the money for it.
Okay,
That's
sounds
Thank
good.
you.
That
Thank you.
covers it. Yeah, and I'll be
Appreciate
in
it.
touch this week here about to tell you if the SCBA, I guess the downside would be if they say, no, we're out of money, we're not obligating more, then it would be in for next year's funding. So again, it'd be waiting. At that point, we'd be waiting on Congress to pass a budget. So you're waiting on Congress to do their job, which can be.
Yeah, won't be till 24,
We'll
25.
need a new set by then.
Yeah, could
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have another city. They had 3 different applications. We were aiming for 150,000 in that scenario. We ended up getting 170. I'm like, well, it took a year, so that 20 grand, that'll cover the inflation over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Type of thing. So
Right.
it's at mercy of our funding and whatnot, so.
All
Well,
right,
thank
very
you for
good.
the update.
Yeah, and thanks for your patience through the process. And again, apologize for like I said, months of waiting, then hurry, give me all this. I know that's frustrating. It's frustrating on my end too.
You're just lucky I have no life and I was available to sign it at the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No, we made it work.
Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay,
if
have a
anybody
good
has any
evening.
questions, just
Yep.
shoot me an email or give me a call.
All right,
Take
thank
care.
you.
Yep, thanks.
Okay. Mr. Christopherson,
All right.
our beloved commissioner.
Well, thanks for letting me come here tonight. I know it's been quite a while since I've come because of COVID. It kind of gets put on the back burner and then you kind of like going to church. You got to get back into it. and start going.
Yeah.
You know, and so I hope to, ahead of COVID, you know, we were coming annually, the whole boards.
Mhm.
And then we turned over administrators about the same time COVID hit. And so we really haven't gotten back into that rhythm, but I think we should try to get at least as a whole board come and visit you guys at least once a year. But I hope to make better, more frequent visits. So what I thought I would do is just give you some updates, what's happening at the county level that might affect you guys down here. And then if you guys have any questions along the way, just fire away. The first one, and is always a big concern down here is a JD6 and County Ditch 47 coming through town. We are going to, they're on the docket to get redetermined this year. So we've been randomly going through the county and redetermining all these ditches because a lot of them, since their inception, have not been redetermined. And some of these watershed boundary lines have changed, or some of them weren't ever redetermined properly through the cities and stuff to get the proper amount of assessment. So we're updating all those. It helps when it comes to repairs and possible improvements on the ditch system to so it's assessed properly, the expenses. There are, like County Ditch 47 now, that culvert from the football field to where it comes into JD6. That's 50 years old now. It was put in like 71, 72. And Chris Howard had it cameraed this spring, and it is in some definite need of repair. So there's going to be some expense there. I don't know how much. We'll see when the redetermination comes, but that doesn't affect the city probably as much as JD6 coming the whole length through the city. There's when he cameraed it, evidently when they did the school, did some additions there and stuff, they replaced some of the sections with cement culverts. They didn't. What they should have did probably is go from the school all the way to the ditch, and replace it all. But it's kind of piecemealed in there. So in between the two is some steel that's going to have to be replaced. So anyway, that's going to have to get dealt with sooner rather than later. We'll end up with a problem there.
The 47, that you're talking the Boot Creek one? Is that Boot Creek?
No, that would be, that's the one south of town coming through
Okay.
Smiths
Okay.
and in that way. Yep. And then it's that big culvert right by the school.
Yeah.
It comes in. Boot Creek is JD6, then that goes out and goes all the way into Freeborn County.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought that drained into that culvert for some reason, the way that I was watching that, but I'm wrong. So
That one from Smith comes to this.
Comes and dumps into JD6.
Yeah.
Well, I might be saying that wrong. I think actually JD6 might dump into 47 and then 40. I can never remember which one continues on out of town.
My experience is I kept hearing it came this way from 47 into 6.
Okay, yeah.
That's
The
what
two
that's
connect
what I.
there, and I think it might be actually County Ditch 47, and then that continues. So JD6 is
Okay.
dumping into 47.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it's important to get these redeterminations done so that we had a big one that encompassed all of Waseca, and then it went into Steele County. It was 60,000 acre watershed, and it makes quite a difference if they're not being distributed properly. 50 years ago, wasn't near the development or and now we have a lot better LiDAR to find the lines, the proper watersheds. So, and then of course there's the Boot Creek study, and there's been our soil and water administrator up there, SWCD. I think he started contacting some of the owners along the watershed JD6 to see if any of their proposals would interest people as far as some water retention. But that is all a voluntary thing. It's not like a petition on the ditch, you know, it has to be owner participation in it. So we'll see if that gets any ground.
Do we have any idea what the city is gonna be responsible for financial,
On what now?
coming on anything, on coming through?
You know, right now.
I mean, should we be setting aside money?
Well, right now, I mean, there's nothing, as far as I'm concerned, the redetermination portion may change some of your obligations.
Okay.
But it'll also increase obligations on agricultural to help fix stuff.
And then it depends on if you're gonna do it too, correct?
Well, yeah, the redetermination is just to give you your percentage of if there's projects on the ditch, how much you'd have to pay in on it.
Right.
So it isn't bringing forward any projects or spending any money, you know, at this time. But it'll help make sure that the right people are being assessed if something does come up, you know.
Okay.
So right now, there's really no obligation to the city or anything that, you know, I don't know how much talks you guys did as far as, I mean, a lot of things fly around with what to do about, and this is year 6. Remember, it was 2010, 2016.
Next spring, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Take that back.
Yeah.
Well, that's been in the back of my mind thinking, boy, that would be.
We'll keep it there.
But anyway.
So much for our 100-year flood or whatever.
Yeah.
6
Doesn't
years
happen,
apart.
does it?
6 years, right. So, anyway, we continue to look at different ideas, different things to try to help with any kind of flood mitigation through here, you know, and we'll continue to work on it. Any other questions on that?
Have you guys been involved? I think you have, because I think I've seen you there, in that LeSueur One Watershed, One Plan thing too. Have you taken all of that, studies and things like that, into the scope of what you guys may plan?
You know, I'm not, we've got 2 other commissioners on that committee that's putting together all the priorities and stuff. And I know this is a flood area priority. So I haven't seen the plan yet. It's getting close to coming out, but we are involved in that, yes.
Yep.
And another thing is St. Olaf Lake is a high priority within that plan because it's one of the cleanest lakes in the state, and they want to keep it that way. So Reed's Lake and St. Olaf are a high priority also. So the weed harvester, you probably heard about our pilot program up there in Clear Lake. We got a permit this year and did some curly leaf harvesting on the lake. It was supposed to be about a 6-week period. It ended up being more like 4. We were a little late in getting the permit from the DNR. There was some training involved in getting used to the machine. And then it ended a little quicker than we expected. But overall, it was pretty successful. It seems like it's already making a difference on the lake. They also did a chemical treatment for the Asian milfoil. They got a grant from the state, and they did quite a bit of chemical spraying. And that may happen again. I don't know if that's a 2-year program or not. So the idea for us was to have a 3-year pilot program to see if it can make a significant difference on Clear Lake, because that has really deteriorated over the last 10 years or so.
Did they do that through the whole lake, or did they do it just the south side? I think I saw them on the south side.
Yeah, on the most of it was on the south side. It was
Okay.
only about, well, it was 75 acres
Okay.
that they actually ran it across. I
Okay.
think they were shooting for like 100 acres. And they hope to get, the permit on time better next year and get a longer season. But once the water gets to a certain temperature, that curly leaf starts to die and sink and it's all over.
What did they do with the stuff once they got it cut up? Did somebody buy it or did they throw it in the landfill?
Well.
They bail it.
Yeah, it's right along, you can still kind of see it. That's what, we had made that flat area at the solid waste. And that's where we
Oh,
piled it.
That's what it is.
that's
Yeah,
what it
That's
is.
what that stuff, okay.
Yep. And it's still there,
Yeah.
but it has shrunk down to just about,
I suppose it would have to because
yeah,
it's just fiber, isn't it?
it's just vegetation and it's just been composting. And the idea was that there is some value there, but we don't know if it's enough value to, haul it out and spread it on your field and make it economical to do that. So we're kind of in limbo on it right now until it may just get integrated in with some of our other composting that's going on out there. So all kind of a learning process. The only thing from the highway I've got right now is County 12 next year will be getting seal coated and some Durapatching done, some work on it. That one's starting to get some age to it, so that'll get some attention next year. The FCI, Federal Corrections Institute up there in Waseca is going to resume their Community Relations Board meetings. I don't know if you guys have been invited to that in the past or not. It's been since 19 since they did it. I had COVID. So they're going to start doing that again where they bring all the community leaders in just for quarterly meetings, just to talk about what's going on in the communities.
Network.
Huh?
Network.
Yeah, yep. It's really, I've only been to one of them because I went to, I think, the last one before COVID hit. And then it was kind of all over. There's a new warden up there also, Michael Segal. Early voting starts Friday, September 23rd for absentee voting, I guess. This is a point of interest. We're going to put up our first broadband tower. Our plan, I think last time I was here, we talked about getting that backbone of towers along 3 down to Waldorf and around. And the idea is to get 7 different towers. Well, this one we're sharing with LeSueur County, so it's going up north of Janesville. It's not part of this backbone that we're doing, but it's going to give us a really good idea. This is a good fit for what we wanted to do. So that's going to happen here shortly. If they might even be building. Or
Do you know where it's going to go up?
it's northwest of Janesville.
Northwest.
Yeah, northwest. So it's pretty close to the, county border there.
But what's the plan for that then? Are we gonna be leasing these to the companies or is the plan to offer county-wide internet to people as part of the tax base or what is the?
They won't be county owned.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just
League giving the space and helping.
helping put
Connect the
these,
dots.
get these people together and, yep.
So the whole purpose, Doug, though, is for
What is that?
rural residents to be able to have,
Gig internet.
get
It's
internet.
not that
Yeah,
far.
yep, high speed internet, yep.
I mean, I think we saw that happen with COVID. There were a lot of families who couldn't
Right.
do work or even get online because they didn't have.
That's really put this broadband thing to the forefront
good.
was COVID, yeah.
Right.
Personally, I didn't have a lot of interest in spending public money, for broadband until this really brought it to the forefront. You think,
Mhm.
okay, it is something we got to continue to work on to get better service out to their residents.
it does make sense to do this.
And I think most people are looking at it almost like a, water, sewer, electricity. What do you call them things?
Utility.
Utilities.
Yeah,
And they're willing to pay for it too.
right. Well, and it's definitely gonna hold up property values when,
Oh, yeah.
for people that can work from home all over the country.
Sure.
So that'll be a good thing to get started. So, as far as our budgeting at the county, we're working also on 2023 budget, and we're anticipating, right now, I think our preliminary budget will come out probably at 3%. I hope to be a little bit down from that by final. That doesn't come with, that comes with a little pain. We are dipping into some reserves to try to keep it down. We've got a pretty robust highway budget for next year, but we've got a engineer out there that does a super job at finding avenues to find more money and some funding, and we've got some reserves there now with the local option sales tax. So we're not having to budget all that in for next year. So we think that's a pretty good approach. We're looking at 9% inflation, rates. So if we can keep it 3 or under, I think that's kind of a victory. So we've got an administrator too that I hope we can keep him for a long time. He's very analytical. He's just a really good numbers guy, and we trust him, what he comes with. So as far as elections, we got 3 commissioners up for re-election, but they're all unopposed. So we're all hoping that means the county's satisfied with the work we're doing. Either that or nobody else wants the job.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we got the sheriff's race and county attorney race. Getting back to St. Olaf and the siren out there. Now, back years ago, they sold some land out there to the DNR, and it was split between the city, the Lake Association, and the Sportsman's Club. You guys aware of that?
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's any money left to the city there or not, or.
Oh,
Had
that's
to
a
do
good
some
question. Yeah. Have you
And I
had
might
any
even be
chance?
able to find that at home, because I dug into it one other time and I can't remember if there was any left that the city had there.
That would be nice. You haven't had any chance to meet with
I
anybody?
didn't think it was worth our time until we knew we were gonna have the money to do it.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, if I can't find it, Amy can, so. And the other thing is, maybe the Lake Association, I do.
You have
believe
to talk to the Lake Association president before he leaves.
Yeah,
on
I'll be
October
leaving
15th.
Shortly, yeah.
Just an FYI.
And that's who I was asking.
Yeah, no, now that I know that he's gotta push through, I'll make those calls and see what we got going on, but.
Okay.
Because that would be something that the Lake Association, I would think, would be willing to
And I
put some
think
money toward.
they're the
No, I think
ones
they would.
pushing for it.
Yeah, I think they
Oh,
would too.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I just want to make you aware of that, because sometimes that stuff can get, with turnover, gets kind of forgotten or.
If there's any money laying around, let's get
Yeah,
it.
I remember having that, I
Let's
remember
go
having
right
that
now.
conversation about that pot of money in the past too, and I don't remember if it was when I was on the council or not, but I wanna say that even the county got a share of that somewhere. That they had a savings account somewhere with just a little bit of money in from that process, cause I remember we talked about getting it. I don't know if we ever did.
I know that the Sportsman's Club has been taking some out, like when they got flooded out here, to redo some of their.
That's what I meant. You guys must be holding the money.
Yeah, we're holding the
Yeah.
money.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's where I got those crossed.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll look into that. I can call Amy and ask her.
sure. That's about all I have, unless you guys got questions for me.
Well, let's fill the rest of the council in on our meeting with the railroad. Doug was there,
Okay.
Tony was there, myself, and Braden and Eric, and then two gentlemen from the railroad. We met down here last Wednesday.
And the railroad tracks?
Yep, right at
Right
the,
on the railroad track.
right on the railroad tracks.
Oh, that's
Um,
great.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say weekly, I get comments about what rough shape the tracks are in and that the streets do need repair. So that was my push. I first contacted Julie Rosen because we haven't been very successful with the railroad. And then I contacted Doug and we all kind of came together then. I really owe a thank you to Roy Serp because I reached out to him as a retired railroad employee and the mayor of Waseca. And I knew him from the foundation. And he immediately gave me a name to contact. I emailed that person and I had a call that afternoon. So the
good.
agreement they came to is they're gonna spray from city limits to city limits.
And cut any trees or saplings or anything that's along that area.
Yep, out of the
Awesome.
tracks. We found out that the second set of tracks on the east that run along the property, like for the elevator and a couple of those buildings, does not belong to the railroad. It
Oh,
belongs
really?
to those properties.
Well, I haven't even an update on that now. Those lines are CFS's lines.
Oh, man.
They're,
Oh,
the-
CFS.
The whole thing is
Okay,
CFS.
CFS.
It's their switch and track to get their railroad cars onto the track.
Okay.
Oh,
And Eric talked to them and they are absolutely fine with whatever we do.
Yeah. Um,
perfect.
Yeah, no cost.
They're going to come, the railroad is going to hire somebody to come in and cut on each side of the streets, the two streets, Division and First Street here.
Cut the ties.
Cut
Yep,
cut
at
the
least
cut
ties.
the rails.
Cut the ties.
Yep, at least to the north side of the sidewalk.
Okay, then
Yes.
there's a
Okay.
post
Because the
down there.
sidewalk is in tough
Yeah.
shape. And that's dangerous for the people coming from HUD.
Yeah, it is.
Walkers.
They can't get to the post office.
So, and it's gonna be, they have told us that they'll do it yet this fall, hopefully, because of snowplow equipment and things that go across.
Yep, their plan is to use their contractor to do both sections and then we would just pay a share of whatever that would be.
Mhm.
And then we just discussed leaving that road as gravel through the snow season and then we'll address that with our pavement plan for next year.
Mhm.
Good idea.
I did push the envelope and asked, what about the plan to take the rest of the tracks out?
Well, I thought, was the county gonna take that at one point and make some kind of
That's
a path or something?
Yeah, you know,
We
there's been a bike trail talks since
Mhm.
I was on, back in 16, and we started talking with Freeborn County because that has all been abandoned.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's actually been acquired by the county or not, but it's officially abandoned anyway, tracks are out of it. But from here north, they haven't officially abandoned it yet.
And the guy from CP sounded like they'd have no intention of abandoning it anytime.
Well, they need
Right.
a place to put all their training
Yeah, they still got
Cars
cars out there
And
south
he
of
admitted
Waseca,
that.
so they
for
can't.
storage. and-
He
Yeah.
admitted that. As far as removing the tracks within city limits, I asked if there was any plan. Of course, there's no plan. But I heard this, that he looked at the other railroad guy and said, maybe we can put the word out to a scrap dealer and they can come in and cut it for the scrap.
Yeah, that's what I had heard too, or maybe you said that someone wanted to buy the steel?
Oh, that I don't know. That wasn't me.
He said in most cases what they've done is they've let them have the scrap for the work that they do and they don't pay for it.
Right.
And then he
Sure,
said,
that would be fine.
he said the next step would, they would take that track and then they would put it up they would contact a realty person and then sell
Sell
the
it.
property.
They're pulling the ties out too, correct?
Well,
No, I don't think.
Yeah, and down there they did, all the ties in the track.
Are they all up down there?
Yeah, the ties and the tracks are, but all the rocks are still there.
Good base for the past.
So that's,
That's
some
good
long
news.
overdue
Yeah, so
progress.
thanks for your help with it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
We'll
Thank
see
you.
if they come
I think-
through. We
I
didn't
think
get them to
that
sign anything.
Contact of this Jacob was the.
Oh, he was
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, cause I had made a few contacts and just couldn't quite get them to take the initiative to get it done. And now
And
this
he's new,
Jacob
but
sounds-
he's new. And the gentleman that I got put in touch with, that Andy Cummins, was a community, what did he call him?
Oh,
He
yeah.
took community complaints.
Yeah,
And he got my email and then dropped it on Jacob's desk. And
said fix this.
yeah.
That's the best way to do it.
Which the guy from Wasika had kept telling, he even met with Darlene Abraham down here like a year ago.
Right.
And yep, he was gonna get something done and he didn't. You weren't there when I shook his hand. And I said, oh, you're the guy that Darlene Abraham has been calling and you won't return her calls.
Good.
And he looked down, he goes, yeah.
Well, at least he admitted it.
So hopefully we'll see
Yeah,
some.
hopefully he'll
action.
keep the ball rolling there.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
All right.
Any
Thank you,
questions
Doug.
for
I got a question for you. You know that best group that goes around, that's around Wasika to help look at stuff? They were talking about Wasika trying to get people or businesses to come into that area on the west side of town. Has the EDA for Wasika or Wasika County Commissioners thought of doing something similar for towns in the Wasika County? Say, bring something like a manufacturing facility so that we have, I'm thinking, tax basis for our budget for next year.
Probably
Or the year
not,
after.
they want them.
Can can
Yeah.
you see if you can do anything about that?
That's a big request.
That's a tall task.
I know, but if we don't start it, we don't start it.
Yeah, no, that's right. And the trick to that, and there's, a lot of or different ideas on how to handle it even in Wasika, They've got a lot of industrial areas that are some empty buildings, and so do you spend the money to get city water and sewer out to that west interchange and get some new dirt ready for industry? Because a lot of these commercial buildings or industry want something
So,
spade ready, they want to be able to come in and build their own building.
Mhm.
It's hard to pigeonhole them into an existing building. And so,
the city would have to be proactive and do a bit of a development. Is
See,
what
when
you're
they
that-
do
saying.
that
that's-
industry and it's a certain company, they have to follow all the specs of that.
Yeah,
I'm just asking to see if you can look into it, to see if you
Yeah,
can do anything
absolutely.
for, and I'm being selfish, us here in town.
right.
Maybe we
no,
could build something.
And this is the time to do a lot of that investigation work, because like the whole reason the West Interchange came up again in Wasika was that the federal, and I won't come up with the name of the
Yeah.
grant, but they were gonna, it was always a 50-50 match. Well, now they were gonna do 75% match. So between the county and the city, if we were to do this, it was this was the opportunity to do it. It's been talked about, since 14 was put in. So that's why it's really I think they sent an application in to try to get that match.
I was thinking because of that semiconductor they built out in Ohio or Indiana, where President Biden just went there last week. That was all, I shouldn't say all, most of that was those funding from that chip conductor bill he just passed. I
Okay.
wondered if something like that, or the funds that they talk about that we've used a little bit for infrastructure and
Right.
expanding a little bit. I'm gonna kick you in the butt, see if you can do something.
Yeah, I know, and I'll do some looking into it and see what there is, but yeah. There again, you have to have some groundwork done too, as far as,
Yeah.
Where would something like that go, or,
yeah, we'd have to look at our zoning and see what's available. And
but it sure would be a boost to the
Yes, it will.
county if you could get something like that to move in. Yeah.
I've thought of that for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, we'll continue to work on that. Good question.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Doug.
Good night.
Come again.
Take care.
Don't wait
We'll
3
see you
years.
in 3 months, next quarter.
Next quarter, you want me here quarterly?
No, I was just taking you up on your word.
Yeah, call me out.
Okay.
But no, I will, come quarterly if, that is the wishes or try to do that anyway, at least winter, summer and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least semi-annual,
Yeah.
I would think.
Right.
Okay.
And I'll try to.
As long as you're willing to do that, that's
Support
great.
along too.
Yeah.
So.
All right, good night.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Have a good trip home.
Okay, resolution 2211, modifying rate structure.
It's up to you what you wanna do. If you looked at the information and you feel
Yeah.
comfortable with that, you can go ahead, or we can wait to do that until after the sewer discussion.
Well, I think we need to have the sewer discussion
Okay,
first.
then we can wait on that and you can move to the department.
I want to bring up maybe some arithmetic, because I thought I saw one place you said 8% and then the other one was 7.6 or 7.8.
Well, we're not there yet.
Okay,
What are you talking about?
that's what I wanted to find it. It looked like there was two different not dollar amounts, but percentages. You go ahead with whatever we need to. He said we aren't there yet, so.
You're on finances,
Well, I
right?
know, but I'm going down through the
Yeah.
pack.
Your memo here,
Well, do you wanna do that now?
I think we should, otherwise, because it looks to me like you have these amounts in with this resolution.
No, I do, I can change them if we need to.
Well, let's talk
Yeah.
about this one then
Well-
first.
You wanna do that now, or do you wanna go through the department reports and everything and then do that at the end?
Oh,
I
I
don't
see,
care, whatever.
I see you, okay, yeah, let's do that. You wanna go, okay. Ambulance department report. Who's giving that?
It's in writing again.
Move to approve.
It's short and sweet.
I'll second it.
Well, there's not much to it.
No, motion by Lauren, seconded by Jason to approve the ambulance department report. Any other conversation? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Fire department's the same.
We have one addition to the fire department report that I had forgotten about, and I just talked to Josh again. They have an opening, went through applications, interviewed, and making a recommendation to hire this person, has cleared background checks, so it is good to go.
Okay.
What's the address?
Yeah, what's the
You get a
game?
whole
Yeah,
book
what's
of
that?
addresses and you go find them out on the county roads.
Oh, and that's called a
Physically-
game.
Physically find them?
That's why you refer to it as a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause if you get into Steele County,
Yeah.
their addresses are backwards compared to Richland.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
How about the little blue sign?
their avenues and streets are different than ours.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So
Avenues and streets are supposed to run the same.
Right, but we're different than the county.
Yeah, so it gets kind
He
of
was-
confusing for
You
some.
approved him for the ambulance, not
Oh,
too terribly long.
okay,
What's the first name?
Jordan.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
And
You
you
do
can,
it about
you
every
can,
other year,
you can make a
just to
motion
keep-
with his name, he's been an approver, he's been in the background check, so.
just to keep fresh on the skills.
You just have to get a drone and have it lead you the way out there.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you do when the drone dies of battery?
All right, we need an
Plug it
app,
into that electric car like on TV.
Well, as long as you get there, you're fine. You don't have to worry about getting, you should know your way back.
right, we need a motion to approve or deny this, gentlemen?
Can we do it in the fire department report?
That should be a separate motion.
Should it?
Yep.
I move to approve the fire department report.
I'll second it.
Doing it first. A motion by Lauren, seconded by Jason to approve the fire department report. Any other conversation? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Now this one. I can't read the first name. Can you?
Jordan Allen.
Oh. Move to hire Jordan Allen as a
Firefighter.
firefighter.
I'll second.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Jody to approve Jordan Allen as a new volunteer fireman. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Police Department report.
Not much there either. It's been kind of a, not even gonna say the word, but.
No, yeah, don't.
Yeah, so pretty much things are going swimmingly. The whole, Denise did a phenomenal job in the whole month of September. All shifts have been filled, so.
We won't see any to unite anymore on these reports, will we?
Not for a little while till we decide what date it's gonna be.
I'll make a motion to approve the police department report.
Second.
Motion by Chad, seconded by Jody to approve the police department report. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, you wanna go right on to unfinished?
Sure.
Chief of Police opening.
You want me to do it, or do you wanna do it?
I will, Lauren and I and Tony met with the two candidates for the police chief, and go ahead.
After interviewing, personnel committee and myself are making a recommendation to the council to hire, Officer Denise Bruger as the full-time chief, starting at step one of $25.66 an hour with a 6-month probation period, where she would be eligible to move up to step two, and that would include prorated sick and vacation leave.
Is she going to remain at 32 hours?
I think I think it just depends on what's going on, but I believe she said that if she were able to take the job, that it'd be part of the package, so.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you mean by prorated?
Yep, so if she
Sick
works
and
40 hours a week, she'll get prorated, or she'll get full sick and vacation. If she works 32 hours a week, she'll get sick and vacation based on 32 hours a week, just depending on how it goes through.
Mhm.
So.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So move.
I'll second it.
Motion by Lauren, seconded by Jason to approve Denise Bruger as our new police chief for the city of New Richland. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And I'll make that offer to her in the morning.
Full-time officer opening, we didn't really.
Well, we discussed it, and the only real interest that we have from the position is our current full-time officer, Brandon Herman, so we kind of discussed at this time.
Actually, he's our part-time who has graciously
Yes,
been working as our full-time.
correct. So we discussed that we would like to offer him the full-time job, for the police department.
Mhm.
Where will he come in at?
So his salary would still be the same, so he would start at step one, which is $20.17 an hour, and then after a 6-month probation period, he would be able to be to step two for $21.18. That position would be insurance and vacation.
Has he indicated that he would take it if he's offered it?
I believe he will. That's all I can say.
Do
at
you
the
have, do you have a
moment.
plan if he doesn't?
Well, he expressed interest. or we
Yes.
wouldn't
Oh,
even
he
be
did,
talk-
okay.
Or we wouldn't even be talking
That's kind of what
about
I
it.
was asking.
As of right now, no, there's no plan if he doesn't take it. So.
Okay.
Cross your fingers. But he has expressed interest.
Where are we sitting right now, the numbers?
Well, if you make this move with Brandon going to full-time, that would give us those 2 full-time positions and 2 part-time positions. However, Officer Brewer and I do have 3 interested applications for part-time that we're just kind of waiting on to see what's happening tonight.
Okay.
I know we've talked about it, a lot of different scenarios with hours and things. And one of those talks was not to have so many part-time.
Right, but the cost of a part-timer runs us about $35 a year. And you know as well as I do, if we have one opening on a Sunday afternoon and people have full-time jobs, if you have 7 people to try to get a person to work that shift or 2 people to try to work that shift, we're gonna be way more successful if you have 7 versus if you have 2.
Is that counting
So-
the uniforms and everything we have? to
Yeah, it's a
buy?
one-time fee and then it's $90 every 3 years for the license. So, and all the training's reimbursed by the feds.
Okay.
Mhm.
But we're not talking about that right now, we're just going
No.
full time.
Right.
If so, wish.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to hire the guy to go full-time.
Brandon?
Brandon.
Herman,
Mhm.
I remember him. I remember the last name. Oh, okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Chad to hire or offer the full-time police officer position to Brandon Herman. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
now we can dive into your sewer.
We can. We have a resolution here, which we will go back to, but, in that resolution, Tony has plugged in. Everybody got this memo
Mhm.
note?
Yeah.
So showing our current base rate and our proposed base rate. Current usage and our proposed current usage. And our sewer is behind. So I think we kind of decided we needed to make that move.
So what I did was I kind of picked, so I know that during our work session, we were talking budget and stuff, we kind of had thrown out that 5% number there, thinking that that would be kind of an okay place to start. When I looked at that, it really didn't do a lot of, I mean, it made some progress, but not a heck of a lot of progress, so this is just a hair over that, but it gets us close to being where we need to be at the end of the year to make another decision on January to go forward with rates for January.
Yeah. I think that was our discussion at the work session.
And so just I don't know if you can see it real great, but I put together, I did do some calling, I did talk to a few different places over the last few days. And so this is just kind of a breakdown.
That's crazy.
And then basically an average cost of 5,000 gallons of water. And the thing that's interesting to me is that it seems like the rates are very regionalized. Like everybody around us has a fairly decent high rate for water, and like outside of us, north and west, and it's a lot lower. But the thing I will draw you to is that Waseca, for every bill, every monthly bill that a customer gets, they get a capital charge of $15.57 for water, $17.20 for sewer, and $7 for storm sewer. That is capital charges that go on the bill before a gallon of water is used.
That goes into capital fund.
I was wondering why there's
So what
so
is that,
low.
15? That's almost is that $40?
I talked to Jan Ferguson over there, and she said, I believe she said what she said was the bill is $63.01 before they use any water.
Oh, I don't want to be shot. So we don't want
But
to.
what,
People complaining, well, see.
how old is that rate?
Everybody complains about water rates.
How old is that rate? Do you know?
That's this year's rate.
No, what I mean, when's the last time they adjusted it?
They adjust it every year.
Every
Oh, they do?
electric meter just.
So it's been going up little by
What's that?
little?
Every
Yeah,
electric,
yeah.
Okay.
so every apartment in a building has a $3.50 charge on their electric bill for streetlights.
What is that at?
What's it got?
Waseca.
Yeah, this is not including their electric
Well, you
utility,
do
which is
want-
also on that same bill.
I'm
It's just
surprised there ain't
water.
pitchforks and axes out.
What was that?
I'm surprised there ain't pitchfork and axes out.
You know, I don't know how much the rates really adjust. I think and you gotta remember that they can, levy a lot against their industry partners that they
Yeah,
have
okay.
in the city too. So we
That's
don't,
before they use any electricity.
any water.
Water.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Judging by these numbers, we are not that out of line.
No,
No.
not at all.
That's what I looked at.
No.
Yep, I didn't think so either.
No, not at all.
Okay,
And I mean, I hate to say that, but I mean, and unfortunately I forgot to ask Sarah Joe where everybody is at, but I think the majority of our residents use less than 5,000 gallons of water. I don't know.
I less than 1,000.
Yeah, mine's always less than 1,000.
You made a comment earlier that we're gonna change something in January. Will that be water, not sewer?
Well, our water fund, if you look at it, is in fairly good shape. So what I'd like to do is look at the water fund again. Well, we should be looking at those in October, November is when we should start really addressing that for January. But I'm thinking that we can reevaluate our water fund and we might be able to reduce water rates a hair to kind of compensate for that sewer increase.
Oh, wow.
But we're not gonna think about changing the sewer rate in January then, if we do what you're talking about.
Who
No.
knows?
Okay,
I
well,
don't-
yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
We-
But what
we-
I'm saying is if we go up, let's say in January, we decide to go up $3 on the sewer rate, we may be able to drop the water rate $2.50 and kind of take out and make it only a 50-cent increase instead of 3.
In January.
Right.
That's what we discussed is looking at
And I
this.
remember that. I remember that.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that the way that I've calculated this out and running and crunching some numbers, I think this is kind of the rate that it kind of has to be to try to stable some of this off before the end of the year.
At least this month.
Right.
Now, my question for all of you is, which way would you rather be? Would you rather have a bigger increase up front than two littler ones spaced apart?
I would rather have littler one spaced apart.
Easier pill to swallow, I think.
Yeah, okay, I'm thinking they're getting
So-
twice now.
The other option too is to put, instead of messing with rates, we could also put, like, on the water side, I believe there's $1 capital improvement
Oh,
fund on
gotcha.
every bill. We could do that on the sewer side,
Mhm.
and Sarah Jo and I figured it out, and at $5 a bill, it would be $60,000 in income for capital improvement projects.
To maybe help out there.
Right, at $2.50, it would be about
And we're-
$30,000.
And right now, we're more than that behind.
Right, so, I mean, that's
I
just,
like that.
that's looking forward to that, but that way you wouldn't have to mess with the rate so much, you'd still be able to build that capital
Mhm.
through that fee.
Maybe
you know.
be a little softer on the rates and do that.
Right, potentially, and we also have to remember that we do have that ARP money, and that can be used for facility maintenance and upgrades and I would strongly urge the council, when we go into this year, we need to address that water treatment plant,
If
or
we
the
did,
wastewater plant.
if we did the capital thing to raise money for expanding, does that money have to be used for that?
Capital money would have to be used for capital projects or infrastructure projects, but that could be
Difference?
upgrading
Okay.
stuff for,
Could be, yeah. at
Could be anything.
council
So
then if we
discretion.
pretty
did get-
generalized.
Mhm.
If we did put a bunch of money in there and got the ARP funds, then we could at least spread that other money somewhere else then. Gotcha.
What I would see is with the money that we would bring in on this increase, we would try to use some of that ARP money to balance out that deficit a little bit, to fix some of the things that need to get fixed, so we're not paying enough
Makes sense.
cash.
Makes sense.
Remember that art money is not gonna last forever.
Correct.
No, and we've
It's
already
not a
spent
big-
probably 15,000 of it.
Yeah.
Can we go back and get more?
Not ARP money, that's
That was-
Can
The
that be
government
used
gives
for
it to
the
us?
siren? I think-
maybe.
I think,
We kind of have a blank check with the latest release of what
mhm.
the requirements were for it, so as long as it's an infrastructure process, I don't think they really care so much.
They were a little more lax on the ARP than they were the CARES, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yes.
I think they learned the lesson there.
So if you're happy with that, I've provided those two resolutions that will make these changes, and we read meters tomorrow, so it would actually not take effect until the next time we read meters.
Yeah. Because I think a rate increase has to be a month and then noticed, doesn't it?
I don't know for sure,
Where did I read it?
but we would put it in the newsletter on
Probably in
next
the
bill.
ordinance.
Might be. All right, so we have, first before us, we have resolution 2211, modifying the rate structure for water and sewer usage in the city of New Richland.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2211.
Second.
Motion by Jody, seconded by Lauren to adopt resolution 2211, modifying the rate structure. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the next one is just updating the fee schedule to show us.
Changes.
I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution 2212, adopting the updated fee schedule.
Second.
Motion by Jody, seconded by Lauren to adopt resolution 2212 as stated. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And you got these here for me to sign.
Yep, I'll have,
Sign them after the meeting then.
yeah, here you can throw that in your stack too.
Is that the grants?
Yeah.
All right,
You wanted to hit your financials first and then we can jump in the budget?
sure. There is no revenue in the water and sewer.
I noticed that too,
There's no revenue in the water and sewer.
No,
for this.
for August,
Hmm.
as well as, again, the ambulance.
Well, my suggestion would be if you're willing to, let's table this and I will put it on the next agenda. And let me dig into that. I had a short week, so after that day with training this week, so I didn't get a chance to dive into them real close, but we've been having a really bad time with our PSN
You said that last
and
time.
communicating with our system. Like the other day, like our bank direct's gonna be off $117.90 this month because it took 2 deposits from one day and grouped them with a deposit from the next day and put only half of it through. So it's been a mess. And so Sarah and I are trying to figure out if we should stay with PSN and see if there's an issue there, or if we need to be looking to find somebody else. So I guess before discussing and beating a dead horse, I'd rather just put it on the next agenda and were those the only 2 things that stood out? Was it those 2 revenue sources?
For me, was there 3 payrolls in
Yes.
August? Why was the middle one so big?
Because Josh and James both left and had payouts on vacation and sick.
Oh, okay,
That's the only reason that they were that high.
okay. Well, James's shouldn't have been very much.
No, his wasn't, but Josh's was significant.
Was, okay. All right,
I noticed a couple of payments, this is on the check register, so we're still talking financials. 2 payments to the care center or to the state for the ECPN payments.
Yeah.
One of them was on the 4th of August, the other one on the 23rd. Why 2 payments in 1 month?
I would assume one was for July and just got on the August payment.
Okay.
while we're on that, SHI International Corporation for $43.96.
Yep, that's all of our computing software, internet and email and office software and everything else.
Is that an annual?
Mhm. That's split all departments.
How
So
is this different from what Metro Sales sold us? From the,
That's document management, that has nothing
That's
to do with,
document
yeah,
management,
that has nothing to do with that.
all right,
Well, back to the other budget stuff. I noticed the police state aid and the fire state aid are still outstanding, and the year's almost over.
I don't have those amounts. Oh, you mean income wise?
Yeah,
I don't know, I think they get paid in October.
Okay, one of them was, police state aid is 18,600 and the fire state aid is 23,000.
I
Yeah.
thought it was July.
No, they get paid in October because I sent an email and asked.
Well,
Oh, okay.
we'll wait till November and I might be asking that question.
All right.
I
Well,
guess,
that's the case,
well, yeah, we'll entertain a motion to table.
Make a motion at the table it.
I'll second it.
Motion by Chad, seconded by Jason to table the approval of the August financials. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, you want to go into budget discussion? That was a lot of information.
I'm sorry.
But actually, I don't know if you guys all got through it,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't ugly.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Good
Nice
night.
to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we're terrible.
But I can't figure out what it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna know for sure because Tom hasn't gotten back to me with which bonds we actually have to pay yet for sure this year. I'm
Okay.
fairly confident, so if we go to this tax levy page, it says 50,000 for tip. There's a note from Michelle here that we're 250,000 deficit on that fund, so.
I remember that conversation and they were trying to get us caught up.
Yeah, so 50,000 a year we should be putting into that fund to try to make that, it probably should be more than that if we can, but but. I don't
They
know.
recommended 50.
Yeah.
So we.
And then this 110, I don't know if that's still a thing, but I do know this 2012 improvement bond, that the last payment was made last year. So that one we do not have to bond for this year. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
So basically, if you look right now, and this isn't right, but we're looking at like 3.39 right now without any changes, but I haven't dialed everything quite in yet. And that's assuming that our capital levy would be the same as last year. And I think that probably, the capital levy probably needs to go up from last year a little bit to address a few things.
The capital levy, I thought was higher than that last year.
Mhm.
Is that on the final? You saw that on the final? Because there were some cuts we made to the general fund, and then we shifted that monies to the, I have 150,110. I think that's,
I don't believe so, because the resolution, let me go grab the resolution. Because I know that that's on there.
I was gonna do that too, and I forgot it. And skid steer, we talked about a skid steer, but only if we got rid of the tractor.
Right,
Is that still,
we'd sell the tractor.
is that a plan? Because
I
it's
don't
in
know, we
here,
never talked about it again.
it's in here.
Well, maybe it's an item for discussion, right?
Well, that's 20.
But we didn't make any decision, we just said,
That sounded like a plan.
yeah, it sounds like a plan. I mean, that tractor's got worth something, isn't it?
Okay, so that is wrong.
Where
It was
did we-
25,000
we crossed it off
and 408 in
when
the
we did
general.
the agenda.
No, that's 2021.
So it would be for 2022. The sheet you had said
Yeah, there it is.
2022 capital request.
That's the resolution that I found. Not the signed one, but.
Is that the final? Okay, it does say 117. Okay. So basically tonight, you are looking for us to approve the preliminary, even
No,
though,
we don't need to approve the preliminary until the next meeting.
so we do have time.
Yep, we have plenty of time.
Okay.
So I figured that we could
So-
kind of, if you wanted to just kind of glance and work through some minor things.
What do you think that
Sure.
that 117,000 should be changed to?
So I started making a little note here. I gotta take out, this I gotta take out because that's a different fund, I forgot about that.
Well, this sheet here, Tony, that you gave us on the spreadsheet, is this what's in the capital fund now, the 150,000?
No, that's what I'm pitching to put into the fund.
Oh,
Change it from 117 to 150.
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna
So
raise
this
our
is gonna
percentage.
be done, that one
quite a bit.
needed.
That's gonna raise it
35, 40,000.
30, yeah. 25, 30,000, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be in the,
Yeah, but that-
we're gonna have to be around like the
that's-
150, I think, to.
That's gonna raise our percentage
Mhm.
from 3.9. There are some things, I don't know if you guys wanna take the time to go through it. I went through it. I don't know if you did. Actually, like I said, I thought you did a good job.
Yeah, I thought it was very good.
I did my best. There's stuff that I need to whittle down yet. I'm not
I think so,
100% happy
too.
with where I'm at, but.
Yeah, I mean, I was pleased to see on this summary sheet, you increased it $9,800, which isn't crazy, but I think there's room for some shaving.
Yeah, I don't know how much we're gonna have for shaving, and I know that there's some expenses that's probably not in there that I haven't accounted for, and there's probably some, I did go pretty narrow on the revenue streams. I did narrow that down because I figured, God, I don't know where we're gonna be for sure.
That's
So-
always a nice price when that comes in high.
Right, and a lot of our stuff has actually been, some of it's been surprises. It's been stuff that's come in that we hadn't anticipated coming in. So I guess the main thing is just to find out where, we need to find out where those bond issues are at. But, you know, I'm hopeful. I would like to see us, I would really like to see us with a preliminary no greater than 10.
Oh.
I mean, I don't wanna be, that's not where I wanna be, but I don't want
Can't go up.
I don't want something
That's right.
I don't want something to us to discover over the next
Correct.
2 months and go, crap.
I think last year we were right
19.
around,
Yeah, we were 17
We were
or.
pretty
19 is
was
what
it
the
19?
preliminary was.
Yeah, I was thinking 17, but 19 is
And I
probably
think we settled at like
7
7.
or something.
Yeah.
7, I think.
I think,
I'm happy that Doug said 3 because I had heard from Rob Wilkening today that they were looking at 8. So
Really?
I'm glad that they're at 3 because that makes, it's a little easier for us if they're a little lower too, because then we don't have to, I mean, we need to try, but I mean, at least then it's not 8 there, 8 here, 8 there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
the one department I had a concern with is our budget for the street department went from 196,000 to 222,000. That's a big jump.
190 to 220.
That's
30,000.
that's $26,000 jump. So eventually we're gonna have to look at that.
didn't we have one street project for this year and we were gonna have 2 next year?
This is just the operating, that's not capital.
Okay,
Street-
I'm just trying to look at where
street
the
repairs
requests
come out
are.
of capital.
okay.
Lawnmower.
No, so the problem is so we had significant repair issues with a few of the equipment items this year, so there wasn't a request made to have a little bit bigger repair and maintenance fund. And so that increase is pretty much all related to vehicle operations, repairs, maintenance, and operating expenses.
Yeah, cause that one alone went up 6,000.
Right.
Well, is it better to repair old equipment or buy new equipment?
Well, and so here's another thing to just, so we're gonna get a little bit of heat, and we did with our S&P rating that, so our S&P rating, I was gonna leave it for my report, but our S&P rating dropped from an A+ to an A, with a negative outlook.
You were afraid of that?
Yeah. Part of the reasoning behind that, huh?
The care center.
Part of the reason is the care center with a significant deficit, and then also our policy is to maintain a 50% fund balance, and we're a little under that.
Are we?
So we can't continue to pay cash for the budget, we have to budget for the budget, which is why these repair and maintenance increases have to be made on the budget, because
Sure.
we can't afford to pay cash out of the budget.
Right.
Well, the other thing that really hurt us is the consulting fees.
Yeah, and we still haven't got our final bill from APCO for the audit or anything like that.
Well, I saw that where, I think well, it's probably gonna be more than we budgeted for.
Yeah.
But the consulting fees with, I can't
They
remember the
rose.
name now, 55,000 in
Yeah.
2021 and
Right.
another 21 now.
24.
That all came out of no
Cash.
plan.
Cash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's probably.
Yeah.
We took a hit
I mean,
there.
that's the same thing that's happening at the care center. We're getting
Oh my
killed.
God, did you see the last bill?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I saw the bill.
oof.
It's
What
the
was-
same thing, you
She
gotta,
explained that to me. It was-
Yeah, there was extra on there that
Two.
wasn't supposed to be on there, it was actually
They
2
lost
bills.
a check.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
she-
they lost a check,
But still,
canceled the check. But
I
I know,
opened an email and I went, oh.
I know. It's,
So did they interview that other person then?
they interviewed Saturday, I don't know what
Saturday.
I
happened.
had not talked to Kevin because I was doing some other stuff today, but he's on my list to get to this week, so.
Yeah.
He's on your list.
Well, they were excited to interview, I don't know.
What do you wanna do with the budget?
Well, I mean, I guess
Keep dialing?
we can keep dialing on it. The reason I put it together is I just thought if anybody had any major questions or concerns that they wanted me to look at and readdress, but daily I'm looking at this thing and reevaluating and addressing it and trying to, my plan is that like Friday of this week, I'll get you an updated one, and then by Monday or Tuesday of next week, I'll get you another updated one, and then by Friday, I'll get you just digital copy, if you wanna look at it,
Oh,
of where we're at.
I printed, sometimes I just,
Yeah, no, I hear ya.
these
I
things,
just-
I just need to look at
I hear you.
paper.
Our printing costs for the council are, I think we spent $1,200 on paper this year just for the council, so,
Is that a lot?
Well,
That's
that's,
why I got the
yeah, that's a lot. So, that's why I didn't do that, but, so that's another thing Sarah Jo brought up too, she's like, well, technically then, shouldn't we be moving some of that paper cost to the operating expenses for the council thing, and I'm like, well,
well, there's a question there. You have some, council does have some operating expense in
Right.
there. What is that?
I think some of that was the technology that we bought this year
Okay,
for the upgrades to stuff.
okay.
I'm gonna put a little in there because there's always something that
Mhm.
seems to happen and come out of there.
Mhm.
One thing you will notice is there is no more schooling mileage in motel.
I did notice
I
that.
put it all into schooling. And the reason that I did that is that,
It's part of it.
well, yeah, and if we don't use mileage or motel expense, we can send people to training for those dollars. Instead of if it's in motel expense or mileage expense, can't pay it unless it's for motel expense or mileage expense.
Mhm.
Or if it's in schooling
So-
covers everything, parking, mileage,
That makes sense.
so. And then next year, I'm gonna inactivate those accounts so they won't even see them on there anymore.
I've got a question and then maybe a suggestion on some of the stuff that I've heard and seen. The classic or one example is the one where they were talking about the street department and you said that there was more for fixing things and stuff like this. What if we go back to each department head and find those, if there are, areas where in the last year, maybe 2 years, there are kind of surprises that we sit there and say, well then, why don't we build that into the budget next year? Even though it makes this budget be bigger, we won't have those surprises
Well,
currently down the
one of
road.
those things is the lawnmower.
Yeah.
Big time.
We just had to get 2 new tires.
No, that's the tractor.
No, we just had lawnmower tires
Just
too.
lawnmower.
Oh,
And then, but we
That's
also
the
had,
second
we also
set.
had like $1,200 repair and like
It's
a
because they cut a tire.
$1,400 or $1,500 repair on the lawnmower.
So-
It's no longer under warranty.
yes,
long-
the
how old
warranty
is
is, it's 5 years now.
Okay.
But, so Eric's been doing some checking, and so here's our dilemma with that, is that if we switch away from Kubota, we have to change everything, because our sweeper is there, our blower is there, our mower's there. So you're looking at like a $50,000 switch if you go to somewhere else.
Mm.
Whereas if you stick with Kubota, you can still use all the stuff, and there's an increase. On the other side of that is, every dealership that Eric's talked to says you're not gonna get it in 2023, it's coming 2024.
Yep. School districts got the same problem.
So my plan of saying maybe increasing the budget enough to cover those surprises.
I think that we use that, we just, that's where we do that 5-year capital plan. We plan to replace the mower in 2 years and we need to budget enough to get to that point. The other thing Eric and I also discussed is that we've talked about a skid steer for that department for
That was my next
15 years,
question.
20 years, you know? We could have a mower that's just a mower and have a skid steer that's got the sweeper on it and the blower on it. That way, we can
Takes
change
the
out
wear
the
and
mower
tear.
whenever we need the mower, and it's the only thing it does is just mow lawn, and that's it. And that sweeper and the skid steer can be used for snow removal.
Well, some of the issue with that lawnmower is when you get the heavy wet stuff,
Yeah.
it's not big enough.
It's not,
He goes pretty fast too.
but they're
Yeah.
So
designed
if
to
it
do
is
that.
wet,
If
so
it's a
if it is
sweeper,
wet.
it's not so bad, it's the snow blower.
Oh. I know early on or earlier we talked about, and I think it was Eric's suggestion is we don't need that big tractor, which, wouldn't you need that for snow blowing?
Not necessarily if we had the
Skid steer.
If you got a big enough skid loader, then you could put the blower
blower right
in.
on the skid blower.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
Shell
other,
used to haul solids.
then we would just have to have somebody come in and haul it.
We would either have
It's
to,
only once or twice a year.
yeah, we would either have to rent a tractor or, cause
Hire it out.
that John Deere couldn't handle that.
No,
Well, we've tried to find people to haul the snow the last couple of years and
We got it
nobody
taken
wants
care
to
of.
do it.
we got a good person now, I think.
I'm thinking about the solids though, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hire the solids.
Yeah, it's only in the spring and the fall, and it's not significant. I mean,
based on what we've just said here in the last probably 5 minutes, can you dial more stuff in for next time?
Yeah.
Yeah, cause I saw you had skid steer $10,000 here, and I remembered that discussion that Eric said, we don't need that big old tractor if we had something
Right.
like a skid steer or,
What would that tractor get us if we sold it?
I have no idea. I would say in this market, we're probably in a pretty good space.
Well,
Yeah.
right now, you'd probably make the most off from it.
The reason I'm asking is because 10,000 isn't much for a skid steer.
No, that's just
to put some
to
in there.
put money away.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not,
All
Going to
right.
buy it.
I was gonna say,
especially if you want something big enough to put a snowball
yeah,
on.
Eric figured if we wanted to change from a lawnmower that does everything to a skid steer with everything and then having the lawnmower separate, it would be between 60 or 75,000 to get everything.
but it's money we're spent.
But on the
I
other
don't
hand,
disagree
if
with
you-
you.
Sold the tractor,
If you sold the
you'd have the
tractor,
money.
there it is.
Right.
Yeah, if you can sell the tractor.
You'll sell that tractor, it's low.
The other problem though is there a skid steer available? We can't sell the tractor till we got the skid steer.
Oh, totally, especially with winter coming.
So,
That's something Eric needs to check into.
but yeah, so, but I mean, if everybody's happy with the way things have
Mhm.
gone so far, I'll keep plugging away at it. And like I said, we just have to
I was-
notify them by the 30th of the September that this is what the preliminary is gonna be.
Yeah.
Well, what I may do is I may come in with my copy.
Yeah.
And take 10 minutes to go through.
Yeah.
My questions.
Yeah.
And then if you guys wanna do the same,
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I'll do the same when I look for that.
Well, financially, I think it's prudent if we just say 10%, and then we work down from there, which is already 70% better than what our highest was last year.
Correct.
And we ended up, we took more than 10% off last year.
yeah, if you add
But you
to that
can't go up, that's our
capital,
problem.
that's gonna
Right.
So
boost.
12.
I would like to see our
Right, happy
preliminary
medium
at
at 12.
10.
Yeah, 9, 10.
I think 10 we have to shoot for. I don't think we can go much lower than that preliminary wise.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's
I think for the scenario that you guys have been dealt over the last 2 years, that's a pretty fair preliminary
Mhm.
shoot for, I guess.
Mhm.
I mean, we gotta tighten, I mean, so it's,
Is there by any chance that 10 isn't gonna be high enough?
Well, he doesn't know.
I don't know
until
yet.
I'm-
Just gut feeling, maybe.
Do you have a crystal ball? What's gonna
Yeah, I
happen
know,
next
I
year?
know.
Time to shop.
But, you know.
I had one,
I'd hate
but I
to be
lost
too
it.
low.
I can, let me look at some.
I gave it to Gail like 6 months ago. It didn't do her any good.
Crystal ball,
Yeah.
dang thing correct right away.
Dropped it on the floor.
I
Yeah.
told you, be careful with it.
We'd have better luck with one of those 8 balls. Ask
Okay, well, if you're
Or a
happy with
Ouija
that,
board
we
would
can
too.
definitely move on.
I remember the seal.
Yeah, that's fine, Tony. I think you did a really
Okay.
good job.
Yeah, I was pleased with it, just some fine tuning is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think you did a good job,
Mhm.
and thank you for that. Cause last year we were not in this position.
We didn't know it was bad.
Okay, you're gonna keep plugging away, logo contest finalists.
Yep, just gonna present them for you. It turned out to be a first, a second, and like a 3 or 4 way tie for third, so we're gonna go through with 5. So these are the finalists that were voted on, and they're not in any particular order. So this is one, that was one. That was one. That was one. And that was one.
Who decides?
So that's kind of up to you. According to the rules, we had decided that it was gonna be a couple of council people, some staff people, and then a couple members of the community to kind of decide what they want to do.
What if we
That
wanted?
second one was pretty busy,
Well, yeah, it was.
and I think part of the goal here is for letterhead envelopes,
Yeah.
things like that.
Branding, water tower, trucks, so
Yeah.
it all matches.
So,
Yeah.
so we need to, I really like that first one, cause it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
But that sign in the park is in
But that's why I wanna get this done, is cause I wanna link that in.
Yeah, it would be
Does
great
it
if
have
that
to
could.
be the same? Can we
No, it
use,
doesn't.
can we use a busier one for that?
Yeah, but I don't know where that one came from, to be honest with you. So,
I think the school.
Been
So
there for-
the second one with all the letters and stuff on it, with like the
It's like a
Can we
mirror.
look at them
mural
again?
one?
Yeah, it's just a thought.
Right, that's
Okay.
that's all the places in Mexico are that way.
And
But
isn't
on the other
Allendale
hand,
like
if you
that?
put that on a sign,
Right.
Yeah,
As
it
fast
might be
as
cool, but
people
I
go.
said, if you're driving past that at 30
You're not
miles an
gonna
hour,
see
you
it.
can't see it anyway.
Yeah, you won't see the letters.
How about the next one? But I like that for the, how about that one? Is that too much?
It's busy, you never read it all.
I don't like the green.
Change the
and
colors
blue.
on that one, it might be good.
Yeah. I don't-
Now, this one, New Richland with the water tower, if they would've took a picture of it so you could get a better picture of New Richland on the water tower, I would say that's a good one.
For what?
I'm not gonna comment because I got 2 of them in the finals.
For what?
Well, see, to go down to the water tower, Tony, please,
Yeah, but for
right
what?
there.
As a logo?
Yeah. If the
Or the
picture,
sign?
no, I mean, if the picture of the water tower was from a different angle, so you got the new.
See, I don't like it because that may not look like the New Richland Water Tower in 2 years.
That's right.
Correct, I agree.
So this
And there's no point-
this one is farmland, green and sky. That's why that one's together.
It's,
Old pour water.
I think you use that
I
one.
like that one there.
I don't
Should
know
it
if I
say
like
the
it,
city?
I
of
don't know
Richland?
if I like the paw and the R. Maybe a paw somewhere else, but I don't know if I like the paw and the R.
Where else would you put it?
Put it up by the, top of,
And it
By
doesn't
W
really-
or by
doesn't
the
really
D?
work.
or maybe just use the, panther itself instead of the paw.
No.
Are any of these
Yeah,
people,
there.
are any of these people,
Mhm.
amenable to revamping it?
The rules say that we can do whatever we want to with it. The logo is ours, so we can redo whatever we want to do.
Now, Tony, did you get an email from a lady that does?
Let's be a little more specific.
Every day.
He's got all kinds of ladies sending him
I went to that
emails.
entrepreneurial conference.
Yeah.
And this lady is in the business of making stuff for towns. They do the big square block letters and they say, you know, what they do is they put them in the downtowns or in parks and then people come and take pictures. So they bring people to your downtown. You get anything from her yet? Okay. I was just wondering.
So I guess all I'm looking for is which 2 of you would like to be on that committee, and then I'll find some other people to.
I don't want to.
I nominate Gail.
I'm not
No,
gonna
I
be
don't
here.
care. When do you want to do this, Tony?
Jody, you want to,
Soon.
What?
as a newspaper guy, you want to be,
I'm not very artistic.
oh.
When do you wanna do it?
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be really, I just want it done before November so that we can, January 1st, we can run with our new brand.
If you're desperate, I would.
Why don't you think about it and let me know next time?
Okay. We are desperate.
Yeah, we are desperate, for sure.
So
Right
that-
here, we're
you're right
desperate.
on. This whole table.
That's what
Well, they were good ones. You know, it's a shame we can't use the busy ones, but
Hard to-
not for a logo.
I like it but it's just, yeah, there's almost too much.
Yeah,
It's cool
yeah.
though. It's cool.
Wish you had it painted on Carl's wall, just like they did here on the post office.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
$10,000-$15,000.
yeah, no shit. Excuse me.
All right. Administrators report.
All right, completed the SP bond rating call, like I told you. Unfortunately went down a little bit, but she was very impressed by what has been going on with what we've got available to us, especially the homestake subdivision and the inquiries that we've been getting on that. So if we keep that up, we should be able to maintain what we got. Attended to the insurance meeting in Mankato, 9.5% increase to our insurance. I know that I told you that in the past. Met with the Loeffler Company sales rep who tried to sell me a new copier.
Back up the insurance. Is that health insurance?
Yes, yep. And I'm working with our broker to try to find, we might have the ability to offer individual insurance plans instead of a group plan, which may get us down lower. So that's what we're working on to try to see if we can get that figured out.
That'd be good.
That'd be good.
About the railroad track, we talked about that earlier, worked on the budget, now with legal counsel regarding ongoing litigation. I started talking with ISOL about canceling our contract. It's tough. They're tough to deal with, to try to get stuff taken care of, so.
Is it, but it's a possibility.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it amenable to both of us so that we don't get any charges on it, because I think it's in their best interest to not have us as a customer. So, I still can't, I've been trying to go through what we've been getting billed for payroll, and I still can't get it to jive to figure out why we were getting billed what we were getting billed, but like, after I brought that up with you and I talked to them, then for like 3 payrolls, we didn't get charged anything, and then we got like a $900 credit, and
Oh,
so I'm trying to go through that at the same time with budget stuff. And
Do you obviously have a copy of our
Yep.
agreement with
Yep.
them, and it didn't spell out that we wouldn't,
well, it's not real clear, because it says $450 a month, but
fee.
right, but we have a bi-weekly, a monthly, and a quarterly payroll. So I'm wondering if that is for each of those, and it wasn't really
I
necessarily
don't
spelled
think it
out.
was supposed to be.
But,
No.
I don't know. So, I'm working on that. Consequently, I looked at, Banyan even offers time cards, where the employees can sit at their computer and put their time cards and it sends it to me, and I just look at it, hit approve, and it syncs with Banyan. So,
That's what
it's basically.
Johnson's Heating and Air Conditioning switched to that now, so the employees don't even have to go to the office, they just push the thing on their phone and.
So basically, like, the police department employees would do their time card, and
School
then
district
they
does
used
the
to go
same.
through and go, yep,
It's all on
yep,
your
yep,
phone.
and then it would come to me, and I go, yep, and then it's done.
Okay.
So, I'm sure it's a $900 fee.
I was gonna
added
say.
on.
yeah, $900 fee.
But I haven't got that far yet, so.
Yeah, we set that up for you, $900.
Attended the clerk's
One-time setup fee.
It's just one time.
attended the Clerks Institute on Thursday and Friday, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Good.
Very good information, made a lot of good contacts. Actually ran into Clinton Rogers from Janesville, because he actually was part of the panel on one of the discussions. And just so you're aware, we had a little conversation before, but Janesville just got their nursing home audit back a couple weeks ago.
They're what?
Their nursing home audit back a couple weeks ago from Dale. So
Oh.
this is, Abdo just presented their audit last Thursday. So.
Dale would have been a whole lot better off if he hadn't made the statement that it was their
His
fault.
fault, yeah.
Because I've been steaming about
Yeah,
that.
and so just to kind of, so I haven't been hounding him every day like you asked, but every other day at least. And Friday I checked in with him, and he said it would be done by Friday.
With who?
Dale.
You mean it's not even
No, I don't
done?
have it yet. So I checked in with Dale on Friday. So he was gone on vacation that week, and then he said it was gonna be done by Friday, but then the person who finalizes them was out of the office until today. Because apparently nobody else in the office can finalize an audit. So then I emailed him this morning and I said, I'm hoping to have the audit today, and he emails me back and he said, I told you that I was hoping that it would be done today. And I'm like,
This is
Are you
unacceptable. I got a
Switch
letter
auditing
from the
companies.
state.
oh, I know, yeah, I got
I
it.
got a letter from the state.
Yeah, I got it.
Maybe time to look for somebody else.
Well,
That's just what I was thinking.
we got until September
call.
30th.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll call the.
And Abdo knows, they're very aware of it, and I think Tom will turn us around pretty quick. I don't think there's much of an issue.
Yeah, but the other issue is look how much you pay these guys to do that. It
Yes.
should be done in an orderly fashion.
It's a ton of money.
Wonder what is
What
the
is
care
that?
center?
What got a
charge?
letter, can I see a letter from the state?
It's not fun.
No,
It's rather
nothing from the state
upsetting.
ever is.
No, so it goes to the mayor and then all of our representatives at the state level, and then myself.
And it does not look good
No.
for us.
We'll move on. I worked with Bolton and Mink regarding that wastewater treatment plant variance application. I was gonna bring that to you guys tonight. But it's okay, you don't need to approve it. Met with Intelligence, which is another insurance and benefits place. Interviewed the chief police candidates, worked with Sarah Jo, and put together wellness gifts for the staff at the care center through our wellness fund.
What is this now?
What?
This wellness fund comes from,
Our insurance money, we get a kickback on.
isn't it only supposed to go to people who take the insurance?
Yep, so the majority went to the care center and then one person here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was happening before.
What do you mean?
that they were being dished out to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah. There's no employee birthdays or anniversaries before our next meeting.
Oh.
First time, I think, yet so far that we've had nothing, but. That is all I have for you unless you have something else.
Are you feeling overwhelmed?
I'm okay now. I'll be better when I get through budget.
Yeah.
Right now,
You've got
I'm
a
little-
great start on budget.
Right, I'm a little, I tell you what, I came in last week and did another like 7 to midnight where I was just here by myself and
Those
I-
help,
oh
don't
my
they?
gosh, it helped, it's so much,
Yeah.
so. But we'll keep plugging away at it, we can only do what we can do, so.
Tony, is there a state statute or something that we have to do about what our fund balance is does it have to be 50% of our total
We
budget?
can change our policy.
Okay, so it's a policy,
Yeah.
not a state statute.
No, well, there might be a state statute, but I
Okay.
wanna say it's more like 30% of your budget needs to be in cash.
Okay, and ours says what?
We've always been 50 because we've always tried to maintain a little higher cash flow than.
Okay,
So, the council, I wanna say we're at like 45 or something like, it's not I don't think it's significant, I can't remember for sure. But,
well, the thing is, when you get towards the end of the budget year, there's not much you can do to raise the fund balance
right,
if you don't have money.
No.
I mean, if you've spent 3/4 of your year,
right,
what are you gonna do?
If you
Right.
overspend your budget and we haven't planned for it, we're using cash.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
but that's the whole point is if you run out of cash,
yeah.
then you have another problem. We actually talked about it at the clerk's institute. They actually make a bond for that. If you run out of
Oh,
cash,
really?
they make a little short-term operating bond, but they said the rates are awful and it's not good. So,
we got enough bonds right now.
yeah.
I'd like to see them get.
Yeah, so my goal this week before the end of the week is to make sure that I have all the current bonds, schedules, make sure that we're covering all that stuff, and I'll do the capital plan. And then hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have a pretty closer dialed in to where we're gonna be for preliminary. But I think if we plan to shoot for 10, I can't see that we wouldn't be plus or minus 2.5%
Really?
starting.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I think that's fine.
It's all we can do. You know, it's like our sewer fund, we're trying to play some catch up.
I know.
We've been so focused on inter-office things the last couple of years, that's where our money is gone.
I do think that that's not necessarily a bad thing though either, because I think we're gonna have I think our bottom line is gonna be pretty well. I think we'll be carrying some cash over to our fund.
So,
That'd be good.
because I tell you that the 22 budget was a shot in the dark last year when we were trying to
Yeah.
come up with one. It was a shot in the dark.
Well, I think the
Well,
thing you have to
we're
remember about budgets, they're always working documents because you can't crystal ball
Oh, yeah.
what's gonna happen next July
Right.
when a truck breaks down, the tractor breaks down, and one police car stops working. You hope that doesn't happen, but it's no different than a household budget. Your water
Right.
heater goes out and then your furnace decides not to
We
work.
have to have this budget figured by next meeting,
We have to adopt
Yeah,
a
we have to
preliminary
adopt it
next
next
meeting.
You gotta adopt
Because
it.
it's gonna
and
be
you're
a
gonna have all
county.
that stuff we talked about.
I'm gonna
Try and dial
send
it.
stuff to you so you can keep sending me stuff up
Okay,
until
cool.
that meeting
Yep.
night.
That sounds good.
So,
Do you
Thank
want me to date these,
yeah, you can do them. Fine.
today's date then?
Yep.
Did the street people say when they're coming back to finish?
The Broadway one?
Also.
Oh, I don't think they'll do the second lift till after the
Winter?
winter.
Really?
I don't
Okay.
think so.
Yeah,
They normally don't.
I know some places they've waited like,
Stop your whining.
How, is it lots
You
of?
I
got
was
it.
thinking about the
Sweet.
snowplows being on that street and them having a lip like that and
Oh, yeah.
coming back and getting the stuff out of the gutters and cleaning the street up. Maybe the city will sweep it.
Is it smoother now than it was?
Oh my gosh,
We're
yeah.
sweeping
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
We are sweeping streets next week.
At least I don't feel like I'm on the Oregon Trail.
Boy, is Birch in tough shape.
Yes, it is, very tough.
Oh, man, every time I go down that street.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are plenty of other ones now that need to
Yeah.
move
I
forward.
really feel the bumps in my golf cart.
Do ya?
Oh, God, yeah.
I feel, that's terrible.
Well, we don't
Are we
want
done?
that.
I was gonna say,
We're not adjourned.
I don't
I'll
feel
make a
anything in
motion
my
that
golf
we
cart.
adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Chad, seconded by
I
Lauren
don't have a
to
golf cart.
adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Meeting adjourned at 8:20.